Let me ask you a question. What happens when the devs behind arguably one of the most successful ARPGs decide to make a sequel, while their current game is still hitting its peak player counts 10 years after its release? You get Path of Exile 2, and I'm here to answer the question, is it worth your time? If you've never heard of Path of Exile 2, let me give you the quick rundown. Like I said earlier, it's an action RPG. That means top-down combat, seasonal content, and all the classic RPG mechanics that people love, like classes, a variety of weapons, and a skill tree. But Path of Exile 2 takes those mechanics and cranks them to 11. So the skill tree in Path of Exile is more like a skill galaxy. And that level of extremes is applied to everything. That, in simple terms, is Path of Exile 2, an extremely detailed ARPG. But is it worth your time? To determine that, you have to consider three things. What level of time investment does the game need? Do you get your value out of the game? And most importantly, will you enjoy the gameplay loop? And once you've considered that, then you'll be able to decide if it's worth your time. So, what level of time investment do you need to enjoy Path of Exile 2? Surprisingly, not a lot. Even though the game is massive, and you could easily sink hundreds of hours into it, it's not required to enjoy PoE 2 to its fullest. The game is designed so that you can play it at your own pace, even allowing you to pause mid-level if needed. So if you only had 15-20 minutes to game, you could with Path of Exile 2, which is great, especially for a game that has so much depth to it. The next question to ask is, do you get your value out of the game? And at this very moment, to play Path of Exile 2, it will cost you $30 because the game is in early access. Usually I'm not a fan of charging people to test your game, especially since it will be free to play at the full launch, but they do give you $30 worth of their premium currency to spend in game. So in this case, I think it's alright. But is the content in the game worth the price tag? Absolutely. I've seen games charge double the price for not even half of the content that Path of Exile 2 currently has. And the crazy part is that they haven't even put everything into the game yet. And I can't even begin to imagine how much content will be available at PoE 2's full launch. And by that point, the game will be free to play. So if you want to play Path of Exile 2 right now, I absolutely think you get your value out of it. But you can also wait for when it is eventually free to play. Finally, bringing us to the important question. Will you enjoy the gameplay loop? But you're probably asking, what does the gameplay loop look like? Essentially, you create a character, leveling it up, customizing it, and collecting loot for the character to progressively make them stronger. And while you're doing this, you're fighting a variety of bosses and clearing through a multitude of levels. It's a classic and satisfying style of gameplay. And if you enjoy that style, you will absolutely enjoy PoE 2 because it is the best at it. So, is Path of Exile 2 worth your time? Absolutely. This game just has so much depth and quality to it. Even if you don't want to pay $30 for it now, all you have to do is wait, and eventually it will be free to play with even more content. That just sounds insane, but it's true. So even if this game slightly interests you, I recommend you try it. Path of Exile 2 is just simply that good. There's really nothing more I can say. Anyways, hope this video helped. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
I need a way to fix on my heart, but there ain't a bandage to cover these scars. Keep using my kindness, 'cause that's who you are.